Okay. Over here. It's obviously been a while since we've last saw you at a media day. So I guess, the last time you were supposed to fight pulled out with some concussion issues. So physically, and how was camp and how are you feeling ahead of this one?
Yeah, I feel amazing. It's been a great camp. Time away is definitely gave me a lot of clarity. Taking 6 months off contact was probably the best thing I could do. Listening to all the specialists, all the guys there to save you from yourself. I guess fighters and athletes are always going to be, I guess, too tough for their own good and just want to push through. But sometimes it's better to sit with it and get pulled back to give my best. And I want to be looking at the next 5 years, not just the next year. And I feel the best ever. Just allowed me a lot of time to kind of balance all my other responsibilities, being a father, being a husband, and obviously being a UFC fighter. But back in my normal setting now, I've allowed my body to kind of heal that wear and tear on just fight camps back to back, and just mentally refreshed. So I'm back in my normal setting and ready to get back and remind everyone why I'm one of the best flyweights in the world.
Sticking on this before we talk about Steve, I'm just curious, what's it like? Because when you're out with a leg injury or a ligament injury, you can heal that, you can rehab that, but dealing with the brain is something entirely different. So What was it like being on the sidelines with this sort of injury, not really being able to rehab it or anything?
So for brain injury, obviously, we only have one, so you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can, and that means not pushing too much. So every week, just doing enough, which was at the start, just going for walks. That was what I was prescribed by the neurologist, the concussion specialist. And then from there, we could do a little bit more, add a bit more stress or a bit more tension to my routine, doing, all these different balance tests and eye tests. And with the neurologist, it felt like an exam. I had like a 3-hour exam that I had to do to go through, like puzzles and memory tests and drawing tests. And it's not to see how well you are good at drawing, it's to see how well you are at multitasking. And at the start, my test wasn't actually that good. I was getting like 50% for my age and education and all of that stuff. And then 4 months later or 5 months later, I did that same test, and I was testing at like 98% for my age and my education. So it just goes to show that I was always going to heal. I just had to, give it time. And then that's what you want around you, that kind of confidence and that kind of pathway back to sport. And I'm so lucky I have the Warriors team that I could lean on. That's the team I help coach for wrestling. It's a rugby team in New Zealand, so it's one of our national teams. So pretty lucky to have them as a resource to tap into. Obviously, in rugby, they deal with a lot of head knocks, a lot of concussions, so they've seen it all. So to have that kind of guidance was definitely massive, so really appreciative.
In the States, we hear a lot of these American football players that, when they go through these tests, they realize, maybe I trained or played with a concussion. I just didn't know it at the time. Do you think you've gone through camps and fights unknowingly have a concussion?
Oh, 100%. It's just something that I guess you come accustomed to. It's just when it's a bad one, that's really what makes you have to take a step back and say, well, I need to let this do its thing. I can't force it. Every concussion's different. Everyone's gonna. There's no one size fits all. So pretty lucky to still have a career in front of me that. We're back to where we want to be, and that's putting on my best performances and looking at the next 5 years, and just having that balance between family life and training. I think that's been a massive thing, and also having like deload weeks and having more emphasis on recovery, more emphasis on trying to put our best foot forward for the fight night, not doing too much in the actual training camps.
And obviously, looking at your fight on Sunday morning against Steve, wasn't a title contender your last time you fought, and then you fought Pantoja 5 rounds in a hard fight. So did you know who he was before he signed to the UFC? Obviously, coming from this part of the world, and what do you make of this matchup against him?
Yeah, it's funny. I was here a year ago. I was supposed to fight on the Perth card when Alex fought Islam, and I was injured for that fight against Alex Perez. So I was here as a guest fighter, and the night before the UFC in Perth, I was at a show called Eternal, and it's a local show. And Mick Maynard was there, the UFC matchmaker, and Steve was the headline, and he ended up picking up Steve for the UFC, and I was there in the crowd watching. So I've seen his rise in the UFC. It's been fast and it's been rapid, but he's made the most of all his opportunities. So, he's definitely done really well, and to get a title fight and be so close to winning, where I thought I actually did enough to win. I've only got good things to say about him. He's a nice guy, and he's talented, and he's going to be a tough challenge. But I've been in this flyweight division for a long time. When at one point the UFC were looking at maybe dissolving this division, and I was out there putting on exciting fights, and I was one of the guys that was making sure this stays around. So it's going to be a cool feeling walking back into my normal setting and challenging the best guys in this division.
Well, also, since your last fight, the UFC signed Kaya Sakura. They've let Makhavan Mahayev go. Pantoja doesn't have a clear contender yet. So, what do you make of the state of the division as a whole right now? Yeah,
it's a funny time for flyweights, especially as contenders, because it's wide open. Anyone can beat anyone, and anyone can get a title shot. So when I told my coach Eugene and my manager Ash, I want to fight on this Perth card, Steve's name came across the table, and straight away we knew this was the fight to take. We want to fight the guys that just fought for the belt, and that's our ticket back to fighting for a world title, is take him out in his hometown, and look, whoever's the champ when it's time to go, that's the clear pathway. But all I'm focused right now is obviously Steve. That's who's in front of me, so it's naive to look past him, and I know that I've been around for a while. That's all my energy is being put into. But yeah, with the state of this flyweight division, there's been a lot of guys that have come through and done really well. Mokaev is a guy that was obviously winning, but this isn't wrestling. This isn't grappling. This isn't doing the bare minimum just to win. This is an entertainment sport. This is the hurt business. If you're not in there to entertain and lay it on the line, people want to see that heart, that courage. That willingness to go all in and get the knockout, or not just a knockout, but go in there and show why you should be a co-headline, not on the prelims. That's why me and Steve are in this position, because that's what we do. We go out there and fight. We don't just talk about it and build it up, and then it's an anti-climax. No one's really looking at it and talking about their fight. It was a kind of lose-lose against him and Manel. So with me and Steve, we're going to go in there. This fight can't not be fireworks, and I'm ready to go in there and take it from him.
And two quick ones unrelated to your fight. I'm sure you heard about the new rule changes going into effect in November about the 12 to 6 elbows will be allowed, and the redefining the grounded opponent. I'm curious, did you hear about these, and do you think it's been a long time coming?
Yeah, it's just a part of the sport evolution of the rules and the way the sport's heading. It doesn't really affect too much, but I guess when you're on ground and pound, when you're on the floor and you want to start throwing your elbows, you can just let it rip and go for it. So I think it's going to create more action, and I'm all for it.
Then one final one. I'm sure I know your answer, but how do you see the main event playing out between Israel and Dricus?
Yeah, for this fight camp, it's been intense, and it's also been very. It's definitely brought the best out of Izzy. Seeing him prepare for a guy that he doesn't like, and it's triggering. It's triggering when someone's saying that you're not an African champion, or you're not African born, and knowing Izzy for a long time and moved to New Zealand at a young age, being in a small town called Rotorua where there's not many Africans, and you've been told that you don't belong in Rotorua in New Zealand because you stick out, and then being told that you don't belong in Africa. You're going for someone's identity, and when you're poking a bear like that, it's only going to bring the best out of Izzy, because this is more than personal. This is tapping into who he is as a person. So that's the energy that is brought into this camp, and we feed off that, me and Dan, and just to be in the trenches with everyone at City Kickboxing. We're all here. There's a lot of us here. We're all in the all over here for a reason, and ready to go to war.
Dan said that Israel's hitting so hard this camp that he's like not even bothered sparring with him just because of how bigger and stronger he's been.
Oh, 100%. Like I'm glad I'm in the flyweight in the small division at sparring. We split the groups up, so I'm just watching from afar and just inspired and ready to get in there and do the three-peat.
Kia ora kai, ke konei.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. He pātai tuatahi, pēhea tō wairoa I te wiki nei. I just wanted to tap into your taha Māori for a little bit.
Yeah.
Listening to your story about, battling concussion, these tests that you've had to do, I can imagine that this would be a spiritual journey for you also. So I just wanted to know, knowing your whānau's journey with te reo Māori, kaupapa Māori, how much tapping into your taha Māori and your whakapapa has perhaps helped you be the best you can be prepared for this weekend.
Oh, kia ora. Thank you for that, Pātai. It definitely makes me more intentional of what I'm trying to do and where I want to be heading. And I guess it allows me to make sense of everything, because this has all happened long before I was here. Tapping into tupuna, my tupuna and my ancestors, it's in my blood. It's in my blood to I guess, go to war and to fight on that battlefield. I'm just that modern day version of it. So, having the reo and the tikanga and the te ao Māori view on how I take on the world, just allows me to kind of make sense of it. So I guess having kids now and they're on at Kohanga and my wife's at Takura doing a full immersion te reo. We're on the journey together as a whānau, and it's a beautiful thing when you have more perspective on life and just prioritising what is important, and that's our culture, that's our identity, that's who we are. Me being a fighter, it's me, that's my job, that's my career, but there is life after fighting, and win or lose, I'm not defined by the result. I'm defined by the person that you see behind the gloves. So I'm in a great place, very balanced, very just calm, present, and ready to get in there and do what I love.
Ka pai. Pātai tuarua, there was a conversation that you and I had on UFC on Sky about sometimes in fight week, I think you said all the time, you kind of go inside yourself, and sometimes you don't want to hang out with people and people don't want to hang out with you because that switch gets flicked. I've kind of dubbed that switch mana mode. So I just wanted to know, has mana mode been activated yet?
Yeah, it's definitely a switch that's getting turned on and off all week. And that's just me visualizing what's about to happen, about to come forth on fight day. It's me just, revving the engine, tapping into that place that I need to go when I do step in there and take on the best. It's a passage that has to be clear. If it's not clear, then you're going to have trouble kind of going to where you need to go in the fight. So, this week, every day we get a bit closer, more dialed in, more focused, and more than ready to do what we do best. And I channel all of that energy back home, all that support that will be there in the stadium. I know there's a lot of Māori, a lot of Kiwis that live in Perth, so if they're there to support their hometown boy, which is Steve, or support me, it's a win for New Zealand and Australia, and for the flyweight division being on a co-main headline. So I'm looking forward to everything. I've been visualizing my walkout for the last year of what it's going to be, and channeling all that wairoa that will be in the stadium, and just to go out there and unleash.
Ka pai, pātai whakamutunga. Pātai whakamutunga. You've mentioned that this is great for the Anzacs in Oceania. I know we're here on foreign whenua, we're here in Australia, but it's New Zealand MMA history, it's UFC history, having 3 Kiwi at the top of a pay-per-view ticket. And I'm sorry if that annoys anybody in this room, but kei te pai tēnā, I want to know, what are your, kōrero, your feelings around that? And is that perhaps some kōrero that you've had, perhaps with Eugene, about this responsibility that you all have this weekend?
Yeah, I think it just goes without saying, we know what's expected, that pressure that we have on us, that weight that's on our shoulders, representing our country, Aotearoa, New Zealand, our gym, city kickboxing, our people. but we go towards it. We don't shy away. This is a privilege to be able to do this. And there's a shelf life of how long you can fight for. So we know that we're all getting a bit older, we're all getting a bit wiser, but we're intentional of what we're doing, and we're more than ready for what's to come. So, this is a massive moment for New Zealand, for Aotearoa. We've had so many great sporting moments this year with the Olympics doing our best ever. Shout out to all the Olympians that represented Aotearoa, New Zealand in Paris. They did awesome. But it's our time to step up and show the world what we have and our skills and our courage, and channel all that support back home. So I'm loving being in this setting, being in this routine, and being here on Fight Week. Just being taking all of it in and being process driven. Just every day doing my routine, and every day we get a bit closer, getting more excited, and like I said before, ready to get in there and get the job done.
Ngā mihi.
Ngā mihi.
Kai, you mentioned Steve's rapid ascent whilst you've been sidelined dealing with your own issues. What's that been like for you? Has it been kind of frustrating? Is it extra motivating, given the fact that he's had this incredible rise up to the rankings and had a title shot, something that you've kind of yet to achieve yourself, despite being a veteran?
Yeah, it's been cool seeing a guy from the side of the world do so well in my division, and while I've had time away, he's been fighting for world titles in Brazil and came so close. And I think coming into this fight, it's not just the fights that take a bit of wear and tear. It's the build up, it's the pressure, and I haven't had that. I haven't had that for a year. So I think that's what's going to be different. Is I'm coming in fresh. I'm coming in without that burnout, that fight week where you're in the setting again, but you physically you might be feeling good, but you still have that fatigue that's there mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. So I think take a lot of us at the gym at City Kickboxing, me, Dan, and Izzy have taken time away. So now when we're back in there, we're thriving. You can't expect different results by doing the same thing, and I think we've reinvented our system at City Kickboxing. Implemented High Performance Sport New Zealand to help maximise our camps, and tapping into all the different resources that we have back home, and that's been awesome. Cross-coding and feeding off each other and seeing how we can do things better. So I'm in a great place, and I'm ready to get in there.
Do you see this as a genuine title eliminator? Do you think a win here should lock you into the next shot at Alexandra?
Yeah, 100%. There's been fights that haven't really lived up to the hype or the expectations. So this flyweight division, it's all about who can go in there and make a statement, who can be exciting, who can let the UFC and let the world know that you're the next guy. So that's all I'm planning on doing. That's all my energy that I'm putting into is Steve, and he's in front of me. Whatever happens after this, I know there will be a clear passage to that title.
And Dan earlier touched on a little incident at a Warriors game recently with a slightly unruly Eels fan. He said you had to kind of rush him out of there pretty quickly. Can we get your version of events there?
Yeah, Dan's a wild man, and you don't want to heckle him and egg him on, and especially in the crowd. Like he was telling the fan, "You're not that far away. I can still reach you." And he ended up throwing a drink at him, and then Dan took his shoe off, and he said, "I'll throw this as well." And I said, "Bro, we've got sparring tomorrow. We need to go home." And I got him out of there. The Warriors weren't winning as well, so it was okay that we left the game a bit early because we had sparring the next day. But yeah, it's cool to be invited to all those things, but hey, we don't want to ruin it. We want to come back again.
Thanks, bro. Good luck.
Cheers, bro. Thank you.
Just back here.
Yep.
Please forgive me if I use the wrong term and correct me. A teammate of yours, Aaron Toe, is fighting on the Contender Series, and if he is successful, he will be if I'm not mistaken, he will be the first fighter in the UFC with the Tau Moko. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, Aaron's one of my teammates, one of my sparring partners, someone that's close to my weight class. So we do a lot of training together. He's someone to definitely watch out for. So just to clear that up, he's got motora. So that's a facial tattoo. You know, he's unapologetically Māori. He can't hide it. It's on his face, and he's here to show the world who he is and where he's from. And yeah, very very proud of him to you know, follow our footsteps and you go out there and take what he deserves. So we've got 3 guys on the contender series. There's Aaron Toe, there's Navajo Sterling, and Cameron Ralston. So it's pretty cool that, you know, this is the next wave of UFC fighters coming out of city kickboxing, and that's always something that we've just needed, an opportunity. Once we've had an opportunity, we've always shown that we belong on the world stage. I remember when I got my shot back in 2018. I know how much it meant to me, so I know how much it means to these guys. So they're here. Aaron's actually here. Fight week, he got in last night. So for him to kind of see, you know, be in the setting and see what's it all about, I think it's going to do wonders for him and only motivate him to go out there and yeah, get a contract. So pretty cool that you know, another Māori boy from Aotearoa can shine, and that's what it's all about, showing the blueprint of how to do this, and there'll be many more, you know, New Zealanders and Māori representing Aotearoa in the UFC.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cheers, bro. Sweet. Thanks for your time.